Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Gregtech Community Edition Modern. Last time, we got ourselves a platinum whoa, hello, there's a hole there. We got our rare metal mixture here, processed down. It is actually entirely processed all the way through. So we've got all of the iridium and osmium out of this that we currently have, and any new ones come in to get processed and keep the cycle going as it goes through. So, kind of been moving my miner around trying to get as much of that stuff going. I managed to actually fix this setup so that it can continue running, and I don't know if it will continue running forever or if there's a little bit of a leak. I want to say that there might be a little bit of a leak of chlorine, but I've actually wired it up, so this one will go directly back into here, and any excess we get from the distillery will make its way over to the advanced electrolyzer. And now I have it to where the salt water gets managed over here, as well as hydrochloric acid gets managed over here. Now today, we've got to get started on the next little bit to actually be able to get some stuff progressing. Because to make a lot of the multi-block structures, we need a very particular item. And that item requires another one, which is our nether stars. But to get to our nether stars, we first need to make ourselves some rocket fuel. And rocket fuel mostly exists for compatibility with other mods. You'll love it if you're making your own pack, as it's actual fuel for Gregtech. As an actual fuel for the generators, it's terrible. It is, for sure. It's like 20 millibuckets to like garbage power compared to the two resources we're using now. Like gasoline and nitrobenzene both produce more fuel or more power output for fuel than the rocket fuel does. In this mod pack, it is required to obtain nether stars. Automating it may be a big hit to your resources, but you can safely batch craft using overclocked large chemical reactors. Now, the only thing I have to say to that is that I do think I want to automate it. However, I will not automate it directly into the largest tank that we can do. Instead, what I'm thinking of doing is actually just grabbing a drum. Because if we use our aluminum drum, we can carry 128 buckets. We could go down to a steel or even a bronze. I just don't know if that's going to be enough. We could actually look at the nether star recipe really quick and see. So to make the dust, you need 1. So 32 would be essentially 32 crafts of that, which would only equal 16 crafts of this, which then you don't. So it would go down to holding 9 nether stars worth of rocket fuel, which honestly doesn't seem too bad. Because this stuff is the part that takes the longest, this is the one that I want it to just... Because it's going to take longer to do all of this other stuff. So the rocket fuel, that doesn't take too long in the mixer. However, this part takes 52 seconds. So rather than having to wait for this to craft up, I would much rather have this stuff automatically crafted up. So what I'm thinking of doing is got all the items in here. We're not going to do the overclocked one. I guess the first thing we should do is I should go back, get this set up, because we are going to need nether air. Don't know if I made any tanks yet, so let's grab out the bronze drum we're going to use. And let's look at tanks. We do want one of these, because I would like the nether air to be able to stockpile up while we wait for stuff. I do have a gas turbine generator here. we just need to go over to the Nether and plop this on down somewhere. I think I'll plop it right by the portal, so I don't have to go too far to mess with anything. We'll do it right over here. I can just pop out some blocks. I got a nice space to work in. Now we got a bit of a space to work in, and we can just go ahead and plop down. Make sure that we're in the chunk-loaded area. Plop down our advanced turbine. Air collector. The only thing is I'm going to have to go back and get things out, because I cannot connect to it from here. So we can go ahead and grab our tank and our ender links. There we go. Okay. So there's that. Ender link right there. Changes to our nitrobenzene. That should do its deal, and we just have to set this to a 2 so it can start gathering nether air and flush the fluid out this way. Really? Really? We're done with you. Be gone. Let's fluid lock it so that we can also place down our ender link here and set this to and we'll set that there, and we will say nether air. There we go. So now that can go ahead and fill up while we are busy. Next comes a couple other components we've got to do first. So let's go back over here. And I'm thinking you have this line coming down. I wanted to check. So there's 1 and a 2. Not all of these machines run all the time, which is why I'm kind of like, I'm pretty sure I can use this line to come out. These are all kind of machines that just kind of get used as they need to be used. So let's drag out some power to the other side of our dye station. Okay. Should be able to work in this area. And come up. So the first part of the rocket fuel is we need to make diethyl hydrazine, which to do that we need methanol, ammonia, and hypochlorous acid. Now, I actually do need to get started on a few more of these fluid links, so let's go ahead and do 3, I'm thinking. And let's just dump off those nether rags. I really don't put them in my inventory, don't care. We do need to go check, because I did try to set it up to hopefully have built an excess quite a while ago. Can't look at it from this side, so we gotta see. We do have an excess of ammonia. So this is one thing I was a little bit wanting to make sure. We have our excess of ammonia to be able to do some auto crafting with. We can actually bring the cable over to do that as well. So right here in this one is where we're going to start. We need ourselves methanol, ammonia, and hypochlorous acid. So let's do the hypochlorous acid first. We'll need ourselves a water. I don't think I have that on an ender fluid link, so I do think I'm going to have to grab our little thing down here. Since this thing doesn't actually contain any... It does. It's not what I want it to contain, so... Let's go ahead and make some cables. Another 40. We need to bring these across and up right there. Okay, so we're going to make our hypochlorous acid, which we need both mercury and chlorine. So let's grab ourselves a import or export. Actually, I really do like to do the interfaces. So let's look at what we need. We need 1 mercury, 10 chlorine. Actually, that's where we're going to have on that where I would rather do the export bus. So we'll do that. Because they're different numbers, I'm just going to run the export bus. So we'll grab this, mercury, this, chlorine. So we want mercury, green, and we'll do Robin. See both of those go in. Now we're going to need ourselves a water module, which needs a cauldron. Let's get ourselves iron plates. 7 of those. Got my hammer. Boom. Go back to the water. And with that, that will allow us to start that up, its recipe. Don't think we need a number in there, so we're good. And then it just makes the hypochlorous acid, so we don't have to worry about a second output like this one with the hydrochloric acid. Which is quite nice. Then, from there, that's going to output to its left and help us make our rocket fuel. Or not the rocket fuel, this one. So we got an... Let's go ahead and put that down. So now, go ahead and take our power. Don't have the cutters, although I guess it doesn't matter. I can just place this right on top. And that can now take its hypochlorous acid. And we can make our dihydrazine with ammonia and methanol. Because both of those have a 2, we can totally use our interface on that. So let's put down the interface and we will say uses for that. This is for ammonia. We want ammonia. We want methanol. Looks like they're both... I don't think methanol's on that. Ammonia should be, though. Is it not hooked up properly? It's not hooked up properly. Why is that? Let's go back and check. Because I know I put a storage bus on it. Did I not wire it in? It says the device is online. Just another little hole here. Maybe it's something to do with that block being in the way. Let's go ahead and wire it to go up through here. I think I realized what the problem is. We just have to put it there. No. It says it's not attached to anything. What if I wrench the face to be that way? Attached to external fluid storage. There we go. Now our ammonia should be grabbed. Now we just need our methanol, which actually is hooked up to that. So I think we'll leave the ammonia. We'll do a fluid pump. Let's get ourselves a pump. We can just do an LV. Doesn't need to be fancy. Let's go to the realm. Place down our ender fluid link right up top here. Hit import. Methanol. And we just need to have the pump. That's right. Oh, forgot. You can't actually do what I wanted to do there, so let's go ahead and make an export. Totally forgot. You cannot put covers on the main face. I have to remember that every single time. You cannot put covers on the main face. We need an export bus. Once we've got that, we're going to have our dimethylhydrazine, and we can make our rocket fuel afterwards. Now, I think that's just a mixer. So let's go ahead and pop the hatch. Make ourselves another export bus extra well. Actually, just pretty sure we need one more. Place down our mixer right next to it. We need to have export bus out in there. Down here. Place it down. Place down our cables. 1 and 2. And then place down our drum at the very end. Make sure that for some reason rocket fuel is not... Okay, it is not... Got some weird fluid status about it. I guess the last thing we're going to need is a storage bus. And go ahead and queue up while we fix the rest of this. So this now needs to have our... Not methanol, was ammonia. You automatically export it out. It's going to take a second to get its buffer going, but as soon as the buffer goes, it will shoot up. We'll get our first batch after 2. And we can also automatically set it to draw out here and look at our rocket fuel again. So we need oxygen is the other one to mix it with. We could mix it with dinitrogen hexoxide. Tetroxide. Ugh. My tongue would work, then we could actually be able to speak the words. But we could use that to make it make more, but we don't need to make more right now, and I would rather just get the recipe done then fiddle with all of this other extra stuff, because sometimes time is the greatest factor in how long it takes to get stuff done. And we don't need any numbers, so that's another good part about this. We can set that to automatically export there, putting our storage bus cable down, to then allow us to store our rocket fuel right there. So there's our first batch of rocket fuel. Oh, that's right, you get... Oh no. You have one fluid thing, and we need it to say only send over this thing. So that needs to go there. Extract thing, and we need to get this out of there. And then because this is all stuff that we have, I kind of don't want to fiddle with putting it back into the system. So let's grab ourselves a filter. And I think I already have fluid void stuff, so I don't need that. Gotta grab one out. So a fluid void cover slapped on the back of this one. Putting this in the... Activating it, and that will clear that out. And now we just need to clear this out. One, two. Done. Okay. So now, with that stuff out of the way, we now have a rocket fuel. For the next part, we need to make the dust. And to do so, we need an IV chemical reactor. It doesn't matter if it's the large or the small, with 8 buckets of the nether air. I realize it's probably best if I make a tank over here somewhere that stores it, just like I got the ender air. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to pick that tank up and bring it on over and have it automatically transfer from the collector over here. Let's pick that up. And we'll put our first ender fluid tank thing here. We'll find out where that was at. Right there, nether air. Import. Go. We'll go over so we can actually link this up to the system as... Actually, I think I have the auto crafting recipes already set up. So I just need a way to access it from the system. So let's put our nether air right there. Put down a blue cable. Get a storage bus. Ooh, come on. The right thing. Ah. We need a storage bus. And then I believe we can check it with... Yep, so we've got the nether stardust already ready to craft, which that itself requires the rocket fuel, nether air, the iridium we got last episode, and diamond dust, which have gone and macerated a decent chunk and stuck it into the system. Probably going to have to do something about mining for more diamonds in the future here. Let's make sure got this hooked up properly. And we should be able to say, go ahead and make 4 of those. So that'll do 2 crafts, and that's going to do it right over here in our elite chemical reactor that's in here. And then comes the next part of the recipe, which, because we automated our industrial TNT before, we can just use this recipe, which is the one that I've input. And we'll get 3 nether stars for every 4 dust and 1 industrial TNT. The nice part is, we don't even have to listen to it. So you'll hear it go up, or you'll see it appear without having to hear it go off with the loud explosions. Which is quite awesome. Don't... Ooh. Need a bucket. Which I have a bucket right there. I forgot. We need to pull a bucket of rocket fuel out. Basically tell the thing that, hey, we got some rocket fuel. That completes that quest, and now we just need the dust and the nether star. So we can actually tell it to make another batch of 4. As you can see, we got our nether stars. Now, the reason we need those nether stars is we need to make them into quantum stars. So if you look up the uses for the nether star, we can make EV field generators, which these are useful because this is where you're going to make your bigger world accelerator things if you need stuff to have that goes by tick. You can make your large quantum chests now. You can make quantum tanks, which these hold 128 million millibuckets. So even larger than what we've got now, like way larger than what we've got now. But this is what we need it. Not this one. Where is it? We got those. A compressor for the block. This is what we're looking at. So we need to make ourselves some quantum stars. Because those quantum stars are useful to make the... Is it gonna finish the quest? Hello? I guess it did. So right here it actually tells us nether stars are used for high-tier sensors, emitters, and field generators. You can also use them for beacons if you desire a permanent potion effect. Finally, a vanilla multi-block. We've added a recipe for nether star dust in this pack, yes, without any tweaks. GTCEU expects you to farm withers ad nauseum. Gregtech Community Edition unofficial. Yeah, that would actually... I don't know why they put that in there, but that's... Maybe they're trying to be haha funny joke. But flying over my head. On the topic of nether air, which is required for the recipe, take a look at the liquid air nether air distillation at your own leisure. It's quite rewarding. So that's something we will have to take a look at. But now that we've got the nether star, we can actually push towards the IV circuit assembler by making our quantum stars. So let's go ahead, put the stardust back in, and we'll make the star. We'll say, let's go ahead and make 3 of those. Don't have enough radon, you're telling me? What? That's right, I never got to doing anything with this. How was I getting my radon? Forgot that I only have a little bit. Has to be in a large chemical reactor with the plutonium and the uranium to get it. Okay. How much radon do I have in the system? Radon. None. I guess we're gonna have to get to doing some stuff with that. Unfortunately, we're out of time. So I'm gonna have to do that probably off camera. Since we've already done the liquid air stuff before. Might as well not bore you with the process of doing that. And we'll have to do that so we can get our radon. I mean, we could check the nether air recipe, because I don't think the nether air recipe has that. If we do the centrifuge, no. We do... No, there's nothing there, but if we make it liquid nether air, hydrogen sulfide, neon, helium-3, the coal gas is something that's really nice to have. I don't know so much about the carbon monoxide. But we'll get neon, which... Oh. Is that literally the only use for it, is for the Americanum? Awesome. Okay. Ruthium, trinium, Americanum, and nitronate. Neutronate? Yeah. Interesting. Only use for the neon, but... Helium-3... Plasma... But, yeah. We'll definitely have to get some of that nether air. Or I might actually just do that instead. I might just set up a way to process that uranium into some radon so I can make some quantum stars before next time. So that we can get right into making our new circuits, hopefully. But thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Please like and subscribe and leave a comment. You guys have a great day. Bye!